the mirror of learning. Reflection allows learners to pass, analyze, and internalize their learning experience. It builds self-awareness and critical thinking, where reflection is more just a pass. It is a powerful learning strategy that allows students to look inward, analyze their thinking, and make sense of their learning journey. When learners reflect, they don't just remember what they learned, they understand how and why they learn it. Reflection, it is really from experience to understanding. Reflection allows learners to pass, analyze, and internalize their learning experience. It fosters self-awareness and critical thinking by encouraging students to evaluate what they learned, how they learned it, and how they can grow further. Tools like learning through journals, digital portfolios, and guided prompts help structure this process by making learners active participants in making reflection transforms passive learning into deep personal understanding. Why is reflection important? In the fast-changing VUCA BANI world, facts and skills alone are not enough. Learners need to develop self-awareness, understand their strengths and gaps, learn to adapt, and grow continuously. Reflection helps to bridge the gap between experience and insight, turning action into meaning. How reflection enhances learning? It improves metacognition, encourages ownership, builds deep understanding, improves metacognition. Here, the learners think about how they think and learn, and students become active participants, not passive receivers, and builds deeper understanding through reflection, uncovers connection and patterns in learning. And it supports emotional regulation through helping learners process success, failures, and feedback. To conclude with quote, we do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience, said by John Dewey. Reflection tools and techniques used are learning journals, exit slips, think, par, share, portfolios, self-assessment rubrics. These are some of the tools and techniques. Then examples are what, say prompts of for reflection are, what did I do well today? That is why I succeeded well today. What confused really me and how I responded to it. What would I do differently next time? How has things learning changed my thinking? So here the reflection is the mirror that helps the student to see themselves as a learner. It builds not just as an academic progress, but personal growth. And through this personal growth, he can enhance his critical thinking and resilience. In a redefined assessment model, reflection is not optional, it is really mere essential. The power of reflection. Reflection is not just an academic activity, it is a real transformational tool that turns information into insights and experience, which really takes students into growth. In redefined assessment, reflection gives learners the power to connect what they have done with who they are becoming. Why reflection matters here? It helps students process their learning, what worked, what did not, and why it doesn't work. It encourages intentional improvement rather than passive recipient. It nurtures self-regulation, helping learners to set goals, to monitor their progress, and adjust their strategies. And what reflection really builds? It builds the self-awareness through understanding personal strength, habits, and area for growth. And it increases critical thinking by evaluating choices, assumptions, and the real outcomes. And it enhances the growth mindset by seeking mistakes or by identifying the mistakes not as a failure but as opportunity to learn. And it acts as an agency taking ownership of one's learning journey. The practical ways of using reflection is through journal, portfolios, guided prompts, self-assessment. To conclude this, the power and reflection lies in its ability to make learning visible, meaningful, and lasting. In a VUCA BANI world, students need more than knowledge. They need the clarity. They need confidence. They need courage that reflection cultivates. Types of reflection in learning. Reflection is a layered process. that evolves in depth and purpose. As students progress, their reflections move from simply describing experience to analyzing and critically evaluating them. Understanding the three types of reflection: one, descriptive reflection, that is what happened. This is the foundational level of reflection where students recall and describe an experience without it interpreting or evaluating it. The real purpose is to record events or actions during learning tasks, to build awareness of the progress or content involved. The next is analytical one. Why analytical? Why did it happen? Why did it happen? See, here we have to analyze, we have to think, or we have to see, or we have to check what really happened, and uh, what kind of steps we have to take, and why it can be processed and how it can be processed. And third one is the critical way, that is, what can I do better? See, when a student is able to go for self-awareness, critical thinking, he can think how we performed today, how we did well today, and how things can do better today. So this how he can go for better, that is how he can enhance his better performance. Next, continuous learning. See, continuous learning beyond exams. Continuous learning promotes an ongoing journey of skill and knowledge development. It encourages curiosity, adaptability, and resilience in an ever changing world. Through adaptive assessment, micro learning, and regular feedback, students stay engaged and motivated. This mindset prepares learners not just for exams but for life enhancement. Continuous learning is it is lifelong adaptability. See, through micro assessment or through instant insight, we can enhance our adaptability. That is how one's life can enhance or one's life can increase their performance. And there we have to use different learning, which leads to identify failures, and the failures can be accommodated, or failures can be identified, feedback through various stakeholder members. So there are different tools that we use forward. Instead of once telling student what they did wrong or why they go or where they take, here is response the teacher to identify where the student is going wrong, and how the student can be constructed, and how students can be motivated, and how students can be oriented. It helps students to grow beyond their mistakes. So here you have to miss, for example, I'm writing a thesis. If I miss something important in introduction, the teacher can identify, or the various tools that which we adopt in refined method may identify how the introduction part can be enhanced and how the future introduction can be rewritten well. So it is very, very important that we have to see how the to be to conclude, that helps to see and how can be disruptive, how they can be adapt analytical, and how they can be critical in making things more prospective in continuous learning. And what continuous learning is really? Continuous learning is the practice of consistently acquiring new knowledge, refining skills, and reflecting on experience over time. It moves away from the learner's once test, once model, to a dynamic, evolving process that continues during and after formation. We promote the knowledge development, focus on learning, emphasize building future ready skills. with communication, good literacy, and critical thinking, and knowledge ability to take the change information tools and trade growth. As through drive by online tools. It's curiosity and the just which students are yes, but they build seeking setback as to grow, not failures. So, as I said, is limited to adaptive assessment, micro assessment. Next, here it helps the students that is to prepare not just for exam but for the life. Traditional exams test memory. Continuous learning prepares students to apply knowledge in real life and real life situation, to adapt new roles, tools, and environments. Learn independently long after they live formal education. To conclude, continuous learning empowers learners to take control over their development, making them not for exam preparation or exam passer, but lifelong agile thinker who can thrive in any challenge for their future team. Continuous learning beyond exams. What is continuous learning? It is the mindset and practice of ongoing skill development, reflection, and adaptation for beyond the boundaries of traditional exams or course completion. In a fast-changing, unpredictable VUCA BANI world, it is not enough for learners to master content once, but they have to or they are able to learn, unlearn, and relearn throughout the life. Why go beyond exams? See, here we should not go for traditional exams, emphasizing short-term memory or to create high-stake pressure. Often we take tests what was taught and we were awarded rewards, adaptable and creative and problem solving. But continuous learning looks like learning as daily habit, feedback, reflection, and it built into every task. Micro assessment, peer learning, and self evaluation become the very important norm of the day to day life. Technology enabled learning through apps, online courses, simulations, etc. So, continuous learning shifts the focus from how well did you perform in the test to how far you have come and how much more can you grow. It prepares students to stay curious, agile, and capable for beyond the exam hall. So here, the continuous learning in today's VUCA BANI, the knowledge is not static. It evolves rapidly. Continuous learning is not just a practice. It is a mindset that fosters lifelong adaptability. It prepares learners not just to pass tests, but to thrive in changing environment. Let's break down this model for deeper understanding. Micro assessment, that is, micro assessment are short, focused check-ins like quiz poll, or reflection prompts. They provide immediate feedback. This turns learning into responsive process. And this develops resilience and self-regulation, which are essential and uncertain and non-linear situation. The core emphasis of continuous learning are curiosity, ownership of learning, and growth mindset, as we discussed earlier. So, to conclude overall, in the world of VUCA BANI, that is, it is very clearly defined by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, intensified further by emotional challenge and rapid technological shift. Traditional assessment methods are no longer sufficient. The future of education lies not in measuring what students can memorize, but in supporting how they grow. And it is a redefined assessment through continuous feedback, meaningful reflection, ongoing learning loops, and technology plays a vital role in this shift, enabling micro assessment, AI powered feedback, and adaptive learning tools that make education more inclusive, responsive, and effective. Through this redefinition, we prepare students not just to pass tests but to thrive in life with curiosity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and adaptability. Hence, assessment is no longer an endpoint, it is the starting point for growth. In VUCA BANI world, redefining assessment is not just a pedagogical update, it is a promise to help ever learner become future ready, self-aware, and continuously evolving. Assessment is not the end of learning, it is the beginning of transformation. Let's redefine assessment not just to evaluate students, but to evaluate them. Thank you. It is the wonderful opportunity for me that I have to thank the organizers for giving this wonderful opportunity to present on assessment, redefine, feedback, reflection, and continuous learning. Hope my session have given some inputs, and thanks for this wonderful opportunity. Any questions?